Okay, so day 3. Last night I managed to get quite a bit done after I stopped filming. I drained the oil out. I also drained the radiator, disconnected it and removed the radiator. So that's good. Got all the nuts and bolts to the front here all sprayed with some lube just to let that try and penetrate overnight and make today's job a little bit easier. I also got the rear lights off, so the indicators and the brake lights on both sides. Now that was actually quite tricky. The bolts for all of those fittings were in the wheel arches and they were really caked. That was quite a tricky job. It wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. But today, I don't know, I'm sort of just jumping between jobs today, but we'll see what we get done. So let's crack on. Okay, so like I said last night, we drained the oil out of the sump. I've just taken the bolt out the bottom of the oil filter holder, so I'm just going to let that, it seems to have a lot of oil in there, so I'm just going to let that drain for a bit before removing that, and we'll just start taking a few of the other bits out. I think we'll start with the horn. Okay, so I'm going to put a whole new wiring loom in this, so I'm not too worried about sort of labelling everything and being too safe with it, so I'm just going to clip this off. Okay, so I'm going to remove, this is the holding tank for the screen wash. We've got 2 tubes, one which feeds to the hand press pump which is in the cockpit, and then the other line coming out which did go to the windscreen wiper. So first things first, I've already pulled one out of there. Well, there you go, that's really had it. Right, okay, all of that just for this. On to the next thing. Okay, so now the filter's had a bit of a chance to... Lovely. Lovely, so here we go. There's the filter. I've also got the spring. So I'm just going to leave that there for now, and we'll get round to taking that manifold off. So next up, try and get the, well, it's not an alternator, is it? Dynamo? Don't know. Okay. So we've got that off, so we're just now going to remove the bracket off the engine block, attach it back just so we don't lose it. Okay, so we're getting there. What I'm going to disconnect now is the thermostat housing. We've already disconnected the radiator last night, so we've got these 2 hoses which are loose. So let's get this off. Right, it's been a bit stubborn, so I think you don't want to whack this because it's got a gasket, you know, I don't want to ruin it, so I think I'm going to have to apply a little bit of heat just to try and free it up. Okay, we're just going to move this radiator pipe. I think that goes to the heating coil, but we'll find out. But we're going to have to take this off first. Okay, while we're down here, we might as well just take this hose off. Okay, so I think now we'll do the carburettor and the air intake. Okay, so I'm just going to put the air filter back onto the carb, just so it's all kept together. We know where everything is there. Okay, let's take the exhaust manifold off. Okay, so I've popped her up on the ramps now. It just made it easier to get underneath to release the second bolt for the starter motor. So that's out now. I've removed off camera. I just removed a couple of other small pieces which are in the way. I'm going to remove that next. I've removed the exhaust manifold. That's all done. And underneath, I've just had a look underneath, and it is caked. There's just oil everywhere. So there's oil leaking from the gearbox, just from everywhere. So underneath is a real mess. I need to get some axle stands ordered, which I'll do on Amazon at some point, because all I've got at the moment are these two small ramps here which I've been using, and then all I've been using is the scissor jacks. I've got two, one for my van and one for this, which I used to crank them up and then put these ramps on, but I could really do with 4 axle stands, get it right up off the ground so it's easier to work underneath. So right, I'm going to do a bit more on the engine and then we'll look at the front and back bumpers. Let's get cracking. Okay, so believe it or not, that was my third attempt at getting that off. Now the first 2 times I'd soaked it in penetrant and it just wasn't budging, so I haven't got my proper heat gun, my flame heat gun, but by using just the Ryobi heat gun, the paint stripping gun, it's really good. You'd be surprised at just what it does to release these nuts off. There we go, there's one down. Well, that clung on till the bitter end. That was literally stiff all the way. Okay, these are the 2 bolts we're doing next. On the left hand side, passenger side, and then we'll move over and we'll try and get those 2. It's taken about half hour to get all of those off, so longer than I thought. There we go. And this is definitely going to need replacing. The chrome is split through on both sides, here and on the other side, and then this the top section of it's rusted through, so going to need a whole new front bumper. So now we've got access, we can take these 2 brackets off, take the second section off, so let's do that. There we have it. So there's the front bumper off. Funnily enough, this piece here, we could probably tidy this up no problem. It's got some surface rust on either end, but we can grind that back, paint it, and that piece is all right. Right, this is fighting me. It's bolted from the inside and they're a bit awkward to get to, so I'm going to remove the lights just so I can get my hand in. Let's see if you can see it. It's right in that corner. Really awkward. Okay, so there we go, there's the front off. Got some damage here. Right, okay, so I'm just taking out some of this wiring around here. Like I said earlier, it's all being replaced. I'm not making any notes of what any of these are. Okay, so I've taken all the bolts off from where the engine block meets the gearbox. After these engine mounts are off, we should be ready to take the engine out. So day 2, and we've got the engine out. I'm not going to do too much to it now, so I just want to have a quick look under the rocker cover and just see how that's doing. So let's have a look. Right, well, we've got some pretty major sludge in the top of the rocker cover. I don't know if you can see that. So we've got some thick. It doesn't look too bad. I'll bring you a bit closer. You can see we've got some surface rust on some of the valves. Not too bad, but it's a good job we're doing this now. But yeah, we've got some thick sludge in here, so everything seems to be in the correct place, so nothing's moved. So yeah, I think that's probably about it for today. I'm just going to stick this rocker cover back on, just have a look around a few of the bits. We got some parcels today, so we got some basically some rebar ground pegs. So we've ordered a gazebo, 6x3 I think, gazebo to go over here, obviously for when the weather's not great and we should still be able to work. Got some rebar ground anchors, and then funnily enough, paints for trade. I've got, I think, 2.5 litre tin of black chassis paint, not for the moggy, it's for the van. Alright then guys, well if you liked today's video, please think about subscribing, click a thumbs up and leave a comment. This has been Restoring Mildred, we'll see you next time.